Hello and a warm welcome to this very special program in connection with the Lincoln University graduation, and it's certainly going to be a momentous occasion for all the graduates, and we're extremely happy that we have with us in the studio two very special individuals. The first is the founder and president of the Lincoln University Malaysia, Professor Dr. Amiya Bhaumik. And the other personality is Dr. Roshan De Lima, Country Director of the Lincoln University, Sri Lanka and the United Arab Emirates. Warm welcome to the two of you. It's lovely having you here with us. And I must mention the fact that we love to have you here, being the founder, president of the Lincoln University Malaysia. When was your last visit?
I was here last year when we had our graduation. And it was a wonderful occasion and people enjoyed. I saw that how people were happy to receive our degree at the graduation ceremony.
And I was proud and privileged to be the compeer as well on this very special occasion. Professor, when did you all start operations in Malaysia?
In Malaysia, we started in 2002 with only 3 floors, 3 students.
Wow.
And with a very, very minimum capital. But what I had, the dream of taking the education in many parts of the world, that was the dream I had. And I think today, I'm very happy we have achieved such dream. Almost 30 over countries we are offering program.
Awesome.
And I'm proud one of the program in Somalia, Mogadishu, which I started in 2014, and that time civil war was in the peak, and my family members, especially my sister, the faculty members, they wouldn't allow me to go. So I had to little lie come story. I went there and I started in 2014. Today, my students from Somalia, they graduate from the program, they are working for United Nations Peacekeeping Force. They migrate to European countries, US, UK with Lincoln degree and settle. That's
wonderful. It brings you so much of happiness after you've achieved that. I know.
Indeed.
Professor, now we are talking about education. Why education when there were so many other avenues for you? Why did you start on education?
You know, Faisal, very simple. We are human being. I always tell that as a human being, you are a temporary tourist in this world. We all know that. So as a tourist, you do something for the society. You have come here for how many years you want to live? Maybe 100 plus. But during that time, you as a human being is nothing but you are created by Supreme Almighty. I'm sure you believe in something Supreme Almighty.
Definitely I do.
So if you do believe in that, and we all have to leave this world. So if I go into other business, yes, we are talking about making money, living in materialistic world luxuriously and go back. But when you die, do you think that materialistic world, what you have gained via the business, would it go with you? But what will go with you? And that's the education which you can create an impact in the society, and the society will develop. The United Nations have come up 17 SDG, 17 Sustainable Development Goal. Now, only the education which you can literally create an impact onto those 17 SDG, and you are literally grooming your brothers, sisters, neighbors, grandfathers, mothers, whatever, into creating a good human being. Now, when you leave this world, this temporary earth as a tourist, those people will say, hey man, Amiya came in this world, Faisal came in this world, have done something for us. He has gone back, that have done something for that. That's the assets, that's the blessings which you are going to take with you. So if I go into other businesses, this is not going to go with me. But
so that's a good deed.
Indeed. and that's what I call, we all should be working towards that. Now,
do you at the Lincoln University have a vision and a mission which you'd like to spell out?
Absolutely. Our vision is very simple. Each and every human being has every right to have higher education. That's our vision. And with that vision, we are going all over the world. So I believe Dr. Darshan will cover later on that he has that. He said, you know, all foreign universities, they would be asking lots of huge amount of tuition fees, but Lincoln University doesn't do that.
Yeah, I'm going to touch on the monetary aspect as well, which is, I think, of utmost importance for parents when they've got to educate their children. Now, you touched on Lincoln University branching into over 30 countries. Now, here in Sri Lanka, I think we are, today's, with the present setup, we find a brain drain, as you may call it. A lot of people try to leave the country. Now, they would love to probably, be educated in a foreign country. Well, have you, by any chance, ventured down to countries like Australia, England, and other countries?
We are starting our Australian campus in Sydney this year, and we have 2 programs, Bachelor of Business Information System and Master of Business Information System. So it is more IT related, and once they graduate, they will be able to work. And the beauty part of Australian government, they give post-graduation work permit, and as a result, they can grow themselves in Australia, and eventually they will be able to settle. And that's our big
opportunities that you're affording these students.
Absolutely, absolutely. And the beauty part of it, since Lincoln University Malaysia already in Sri Lanka, so Sri Lankan students via this Malaysian approach, they can have credit transfer, they can come to Australia, they can come to Malaysia. So they can study 6 months here, six months in Sri Lanka, 6 months in Malaysia, and then complete in Australia. So they are taking through a transition, and the money wise, the cost wise, slowly reduce. So parents do not feel the burden sending directly to Australia, and at least the child is adjusting and adapting the international environment, Faisal. That's
so parents, I know you're all watching us right now, and this is a question that I thought would be apt at this time, because we are talking about a degree. Why Malaysia, Australia? We can do it right here in Sri Lanka. What is special with the Lincoln University compared to all the other degree awarding?
Let me tell you, Lincoln University's education system, very much few important criteria we look at, Faisal. That critical thinking and hands-on skill, very important, and the community development, that you as a human being, you cannot live alone in this society. So you are just studying and getting degree and get the job and that's it. No. We want you to develop critical thinking, critical analytical mind through various hands-on skill. I don't want you to have memorized, and then if you are an engineer or if you are a computer specialist and then you get a degree, and then you cannot write any programming or you cannot prepare any kind of hardware and etc. No point of having that. So what we emphasize, first the critical thinking, and critical thinking in a sense that more on to peace and conflict resolution of the society, and then we emphasize onto skill, hands-on skill. And third, we make sure you are involved with community, and that's where the United Nations 17 SDG come into play. So in our curriculum, every student need to be an entrepreneur. This is a very emphasis. The meaning of entrepreneur, what we emphasize, Faisal, what they are, it's not just starting a business, making profit. No, meaning of entrepreneur, that how you can take the risk, how you can be adventurous. If an entrepreneur, they will never ever say that they have a problem in their life. The entrepreneur will say that I have a challenge.
So in other words, you're saying that at the Lincoln University, well, if they do a degree in terms of business management or whatever, you make them good future entrepreneurs, right?
Indeed. That's what it is. So we make them see that they can be self-confident. They can stand on their own feet. That's our motto. So entrepreneur, in a sense that they should not be a job seeker, rather job creator. That's our main motto of Lincoln University College. We offer medical, we offer dental, we offer pharmacy, nursing, physiotherapy, engineering, technology. No matter what you study at Lincoln, you have to go through entrepreneurship module.
I would actually emphasize the fact, because I know I've been very close to Malaysia. When you go to Malaysia, I know for sure you can do your degree in English. Am I correct?
Yeah, of course.
So that
in our university, English is a mandatory. English is a mandatory, and we don't allow to speak any other languages at all. The beauty part of doing any qualifications in Malaysia, not only medicine, that our Lincoln University is worldwide recognized, very important.
That's very important, yes.
Second thing, those who are doing medical degree with us in Malaysia, not only our medical degree of Malaysia is recognized by Sri Lankan Medical Council, including they can appear for US medical licensing examination in US.
So does this facility also is going to be afforded in Australia as well, the medical degree?
Eventually, slowly. Not now, we are starting now. In the long run, definitely. The next year we are looking into more into community health, community service, social work, nursing, early child care, education in Australia. But in Malaysia we have 150 over programs. Now medical students from Sri Lanka who will be coming to Malaysia, they are getting as much as 50% of scholarships.
Wow, that's amazing.
That which they cannot think. And then what is most important, it is in English medium, unlike other countries.
Like I mentioned, yes.
Yeah. And Sri Lanka and Malaysia almost same weather, 3.5 hours flying. The parents can come anytime to Malaysia, or students, something happen, they can come. But other countries you have lots of difficulties.
I agree.
And beauty part of it is our curriculum. 3 years clinical and 2 years preclinical. So the 3 years clinical, we take them away completely from the city and put them into the hospital environment. On a daily basis, they have to go to the hospital. And it's a very intensive training. And we have a very good record. The students who have passed out our medical degree on the 5th year, immediately they go and write the UK PLAR exam, the UK MRCP exam, and they clear. And I'm proud of this. See, what I do, Faisal, the medical students, when they come to our campus, I try to see them. And my benchmark to them, I say, look, you are my student. I want to be treated by you. That's the standard.
I love
said,
that.
I don't want to go to any doctors. So you understand now. So that's our standard, and I'm proud. And any student, medical students or any students at Lincoln University, they know they cannot come to me if they fail. Nobody, because they will have a fantastic answer. Nobody comes to me. But when they come to me, when they have a money problem, that I do help them. But any kind of academic progression and etc., no way.
Well, that's very important. You spoke about the monetary aspect, because especially in today's context, they are definitely going to have face that situation, which most other universities don't help out when it comes to those issues. So I'm happy that Lincoln is doing it.
Yeah, at Lincoln,
going with the name of Abraham Lincoln. Yes, why not?
At Lincoln, what we look at this, I mean, when I choose the name Lincoln University, I'm a big fan or big follower of Swami Vivekananda. I'm sure Vivekananda, in this part of the world, everybody knows him.
Of course.
A great philosopher. His philosophy was work is worship. Another is believe in yourself. The most important, why I choose to be in education industry, Vivekananda's philosophy, man-making education. Now, man-making education, if you look at the entire universal religion, that you are a divine soul. Each and every human being is a potentially divine soul. And the meaning of education is to manifest that divinity which you have within yourself. So the manifestation of divinity. Now the current education, what you said, all this education is how quickly I finish my degree and get the job and get married, and that's it. But that is not the true meaning of education. And that's in Sanskrit called aparavidya. But in paravidya Sanskrit, that you yourself is a divine entity. So the purpose of education is to manifest that divinity which already exists within you. And this is why when I chose Lincoln, because I used to teach at Lincoln University in US, and I studied President Abraham Lincoln's life philosophy. So my goal was to take the education globally. So if I put the Vivekananda name, nobody would know. But if I put Lincoln, which he wanted that each and every human being should be given higher education, and if I put Vivekananda philosophy and Lincoln together, they are the same. So that's where I have given Lincoln.
Very moving and really touching when you spoke of it, because I think education is so very meaningful. It's a way of enhancing one's knowledge. Well, Dr. Roshan, coming back to you now. When did you take the reins over here as the country director of Lincoln University?
Well, thank you, Faisal. I just wanted to add, before I get into your question, I just want to add something what Prof was talking here. The beauty part, I was talking about the monetary aspect of things. I must tell you one thing, what Prof has talked about.
He did talk about it,
He
yes.
didn't talk about that. First, I must touch and be thankful to this great gentleman and the philosopher. We as a nation, we have about 2,000, 2,500 plus students who are with Lincoln studying. Undergraduate, postgraduate, different levels, you name it, you name it. Starting from a school leaver up to a doctoral degree, PhD, senior government officers, you name it, all are with us. So, as a COVID, it was a hit all around the globe. It's a pandemic, as you know. We were a little more affected than the other countries, as you know.
Definitely.
Yeah, we were more hit, basically.
In terms of monetary.
Followed by the economical turmoil that we all had experienced in this country, and like you and I, we have been all. So, I don't think any international university supported the children. We were talking about the graduation tomorrow. I don't think even 50% of the students would be there, if not the university had helped them. I must tell you something, Faisal. If you look at the international school, the annual tuition fees for a school child, K-12 education, we charge undergraduates less than that for the entire program. I must tell that. That's what that's about. Then I took over. I'll come to the question, original question, that because I want to touch that area, I want to be thankful. Because see, today for some reason, I'm getting 5 or 10 calls for a day. People want to run our programs. Campuses here, they want to set up in our names. They want to have our programs. We already have good partners who we are operating. But why they are coming? They have seen the value that we have added during the hardship times. What we have done.
Value addition certainly matters.
How we have done it, especially when people were when the hour of the need, basically. So when I took this to the management, professor helped me a lot in that aspect. It's not one man's show. End of the day, you know that how it works.
It's a teamwork.
It's a teamwork. And then Prof took this baton, I would say, and he took this baton and said, yes, we need to help Sri Lankan students. That is where it started. It didn't end there. Then it went down to a situation where medical degrees, where is it? As you said, there's a big dearth here about medical degrees. Students do go and suffer, you know that. I don't have to tell countries, I don't know to spell out the words and all.
Even I didn't want to, because I just was talking about the language.
I didn't want to spell out the words and all. But generally speaking, we know all the quality how it is. But Malaysia, I must tell, any university in Malaysia, medical colleges, they are really good. I'm not talking about generally.
I spoke about Malaysia because I've visited Malaysia many occasions. I know it's all English oriented.
Yes. And also the quality of medical standards set up there is very high. I must tell that.
That's very important.
That's very high compared to some other countries.
Exactly.
Only thing that students see, the affordability. Because some of the people ask me, why don't we see medical doctors in Sri Lanka studied in Lincoln? I would say, look, this time, last year, for some reason, I was able to secure 50% scholarship of the tuition fees.
You're talking about scholarship, yes. Why do you all offer these scholarships to the students, and what's the necessity?
Okay, let me tell that.
Let me tell you. You see, this is exactly the students' parents always want to judge or give the value of a university, how big building they have. But is that the value of education building or the knowledge what you give? See, our policy has been that we are in education business. So if I want to put up a big building, then I am diverting my core value of business from education to real estate. The danger of current education industry, that the owner, they tend to get the cash money. When they tend to get the cash money, they divert that cash money into real estate in the name of, oh, big land, big building, and etc., etc. Now, when you do that, and this is where during the COVID, lots of educational institutions had to shut down, because they have taken that cash of tuition fees from the students and created huge real estate.
Went into other avenues.
Correct. Then they cannot pay the lecturer's salary, they cannot maintain, and shut down. So what our Lincoln policy? No such thing real estate.
Only education.
Only education. So when you look into that, so therefore this, if that is the purpose, so we want the students to come and have education. And if our policy, not if, our vision is every human being has a right to have higher education. So the vision is guiding us. If I want to get Sri Lankan students, how many can afford full fees in Malaysia medical students?
That's why you give them these.
Correct. It's a link with our vision. You cannot run away because one side I am telling that every human being has a right to have higher education.
And good question. How do you choose these scholarship recipients? Is it on their
Merits.
Their merits? That's the most important. We have told only about 4 minutes left on our program. So very quickly, from both of you, Professor Dr. Bhaumik, you first, and then Dr. Roshan, why choose Lincoln University? They're talking about rankings today. Parents are very concerned about rankings and recognition. But why choose Lincoln University to any other university?
Few important criteria. The United Nations 17 SDG, which is very important for all educational institution, and Lincoln very much emphasized those 17 SDG. And one of the SDG number 4 is quality education. So SDG number 4, Lincoln education, Lincoln University, throughout the world ranking, we have achieved 53. SDG number 4.
Amazing.
This is one. Second thing, we emphasize students to become an entrepreneur. And upon getting our qualification, we want them to be job creators, not job seekers. So that means you must create something. So you are not depending anyone. So therefore, and thirdly, as I said, what Vivekananda proposes, what says, each and every human being is a potentially divine. And the purpose of education is to manifest that divinity, and divinity meaning a perfect human being. The talent, the human being is not for killing people. Human being is to create something. Human being happily, peacefully live on this earth and helping others. That's the true meaning of education. So that's where the Lincoln University comes in.
Stands out.
Thank you.
Dr. Roshan, your perspective on this final question.
Why choose Lincoln?
Exactly.
See, first thing, as Prof said, I'll add something to it. It's the affordability. International curricula delivered across the country. We have different levels. Faisal, if you see, we have state-of-art campus in Colombo. We have state-of-art campus in metropolitan cities. And also, we have campuses in villages also, where students have access. Quality is not compromised. Delivered by the same lecturer. Quality assessment is done by the university equally. So like what Prof said, it's not about the building, it's not about the infrastructure. What matters is what is happening inside. Otherwise, you must see hundreds and thousands of acres owned universities must be ranking number 1. No, that is not the story.
So whatever you brought out today is why everybody, the parents, should be choosing Lincoln University.
I'm not finished yet. I need to add something else also.
Yeah, very quickly, because time's up.
Yes. See, students, why they should choose us, they have 3 options. 1, they can study and gain a degree in Sri Lanka. 2, they can go to Malaysia and study there in Malaysia. 3, they can go to Australia, study and settle in Australia. 3 options. You must be asking, if you can get the same degree here in Sri Lanka, why go to Malaysia, Australia? Let me answer that quickly. See, the thing different is the exposure that you get in different countries.
I agree.
Exposure.
Everybody needs to have exposure overseas.
The cultural
diversity and exposure.
That matters.
That's what matters.
This exposure. Number 2, when you want to migrate into Europe, if you have studied in Malaysia, that gives you additional advantage. And also, when I'm a registered, or I'm a recognized registered consultant for foreign, what I see, visa officer, what he looks when you want to go out of the country, the first thing that he'll look, have you studied overseas first? First thing you're going to make a decision to go to America or UK or Canada, the first thing they're going to look at, like, why this guy has not gone out of the country first? Is he going to go for the first time? No, he has studied in Malaysia, his bachelor degree. He wants to go to masters and PhD in Canada. So he has exposure. The way he looks at his application and the way he looks at his application is quite different. It's different. Believe me. Because I have done many consulting. I've got a lot of visas for students, not now, 2 decades back, before I started consulting. How I have seen how visa officers are handling the applications. Because their perspective, their view of looking at this is simple.
Thank you, Professor Dr. Bhaumik and Dr. Roshan. Parents, everyone who's watching us right now, well, you now know why you should be choosing the Lincoln University Malaysia, for they stand out in all that was mentioned. Thank you very much for being with us, and I'm sure Lincoln University Malaysia is going to grow from strength to strength. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, Faisal.
Thank you.
Thank you, Faisal. Thank you.